fought the rest, now try the best.
What you have to acknowledge is how everyone hated season 2, and players were talking about revert the update. They were talking about how the update is terrible. They were talking about how this isn't real Tekken. All of these things people were talking about. But then the weird part of it all is that a lot of people still continue to play the update. It's weird because, like, we know that doesn't make change. You can't say something is bad, but then continue to do it. You're still supporting that thing that you think is bad. You have to completely go cold turkey. You have to completely cut it off. It's a sacrifice that you have to make. Even though you still have access to Tekken and you could play Tekken, it's not the real Tekken. It's a corrupted version of Tekken, but it's still Tekken, and you can play that, you can stream it, you can content create off of it and whatnot, right? But if you want to really send a message to the developers, you players are saying to really drop it, right? Like, if we go back to this boycott website, which really this boycott website isn't anything too, like, monument. It's more so just an example of how frustrated people are against the developers. Now, there is some trolling happening here where people are putting content creator names who haven't signed up themselves and whatnot, right? Let's say 800 of this is trolls, right? But you still have like 4,000 people who are just upset at the game. Ryujin says, just came back to spread some negativity and hate. I pray to God from the bottom of my heart that every dev responsible for this update gets fired. May these never touch a game ever again. These are the most useless game developers I have ever seen. How did they even get these jobs, bruh? But Ryujin, if you just hate on them and not give good criticism, genuinely shut this is a real crash out. I can't even say most of this. We tried Valid Criticism the entire year, and they did the complete opposite. And that's what I try to highlight as well, right? While I do not support attacking the developers directly, I don't think you should do that. I definitely support you attacking the game itself, the product itself, because, yeah, we literally tried the whole entire year one to be reasonable. When they were trying to take down mods, when they were milking the game, they didn't want to update the game and balance the game, but they were putting lackluster battle passes in it. These developers have did everything and took advantage of us the entire way. Eris's take on streamers hating season 2 but still playing it.
You're a Tekken streamer, and then Tekken 8 comes out and it sucks. Then what? You're gonna look at your family, and you're gonna look at your family's future, and then you're gonna look at the inside of Michael Murray's butthole. The main man was ranting for 25 minutes. Let me guess. He was ranting for 25 minutes, and then, okay, now let's log in and play ranked. Dude, this shit is like psychopath behavior. You don't spend hours complaining and then, like, this is shit. It tastes like shit, and I fucking hate it. Now, I'm gonna put it in my mouth.
Thank you.
That's not human behavior, dude. If you don't like something, you leave a bad review and you turn it off. That's it. I want to show the devs that this fucking sucks. So you turn it off. Bad review, don't play it. That's it. You don't like complain about it for hours, put out a YouTube video for it, give it all types of attention and views, then start streaming ranked. That's not how it's done.
But then there was one person in the response who says, stupid take. They just supposed to quit their jobs. And this is what I said. Eris himself did. He was the biggest Tekken 7 streamer and commentator, but when season 3, Leroy, Falkenraum started to get really crazy, he dropped the game. And the only time he plays Tekken now is when Bandai Namco pays him to do so. The argument is some of these guys can't quit. And I disagree with that, because for the main man, we know that he could play Dead by Daylight and pull in a strong amount of numbers. There's a lot of other people who was talking about playing Marvel's Rivals, talking about playing Street Fighter, right? And now, like, when it's 4 days later after putting out those tweets, they're still playing Tekken. It's like, bro, why aren't you stopping? Why aren't you playing Rivals or Street Fighter? When we talk about FeedEx, I am aware that FeedEx has uploaded a video basically saying,
I will be taking a break from competing in Tekken 8 Season 2. And no, it's not because I don't want to adapt. It's not because I don't want to deal with the stronger buff characters in general. It's because I'm concerned about how the optimal way to win in this game will make me what I perceive to be a worse Tekken player. And I want to explain that philosophy.
What you need to do is like brain dead mix-ups. Don't think about timing. Don't think about spacing. Don't think about punishment. Don't think about anything. Just try to literally, bomb rush your opponent. That's what you got to do to win. And it's like, I don't want to do that either.
Steve's 5 Fox Fury, when I hold back to go into stances, plus 11. And at that frame disadvantage, there's no reasonable counterplay available.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Why do we think this type of gameplay is terrible and they don't? Do they think we're so stupid to where we won't notice this oppressive gameplay? Or are they so stupid to where they think this is actual real defense? You know how they said they were putting defense in the game? Do they think that this is actually a defensive Tekken game and like people can really defend themselves and fight back from? Which is it? Are they stupid or do they think we're stupid? Because it's one of the two. They either thought this was real defense or they thought we could think it's real defense.
If I were to learn the Season 2 style, it would be a pretty hard commitment and it would be pretty hard to go back. Right? Once I have learned this way, I would have to spend time unlearning it as well.
Mr. Harada, we lost VDX. Casual Bandai, let's randomly change the winning formula. Exactly. They literally had the winning blueprint. The formula right there. Boom. This works. We know this works. But now let's add in a surprise shop. Now let's go after mods. Like they just did a lot of stuff that wasn't necessary, you know? All they had to do was do Tekken 7 again, but make it look better. I never seen Tekken so broken like this. So we all know about the Jack 2-1 up forward 1+2 clapping, right? Clap, clap. You have nothing you can do against it. Now there's these weird teleporting glitches in the gameplay, and it makes you trying to punish those attacks even less possible.
Instant Messenger Sama has donated 20.00 and says this is not Tekken 8, this is Tekken 5.3 on Unreal Engine 5. Nothing has evolved, bro. I am sick of people defending this rehash of a game. This entry was as heartless as Tekken 6 was.
Hey, thanks for the dono, bro. I don't know why it's not the waifu voice.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
That's what it's supposed to sound like. People are disagreeing with your take. I'm not trying to talk down on this or anything because I agree that Season 2 sucks, mad PP. But I think it's fair to say that it's just a patch, you know? Sketty Rip just can't stop taking L's. He says, am I a shill if I think the boycott Tekken 8 is cringe AF? Someone said, another content creator, it's very cringe. The moment they release Season 2, it just shows they lied to us about hearing feedback for year 1. And if they really had any attention to hear us again, they should have immediately revert back Season 1's state an apology. Spaghetti Rip says, I'm not defending the communication or even recent changes to the game, but boycott and make statements of dissatisfaction and not playing the game are two different things to me. You are just afraid of losing your job. Definitely a shill, still a shill. Let's not forget that Ares was the reason why Tekken 7's viewership was able to rival Street Fighter. This guy saw the writing on the wall years ago. I really miss watching his Tekken content.
But for Tekken, there is one restream that you just cannot ignore, and that's avoiding the puddle or Ares' restream. So the important thing is that Ares' numbers, when added to Tekken, push it over Street Fighter's viewership numbers.
So that's the thing, right? Ares used to restream tournaments, events, all that. And his restream in combination with the mainstream would push it above Street Fighter. And so when he stepped away, they lost that.
So, to make it short, my stream pushes Tekken ahead of Street Fighter.
In their endless pursuit of simplicity, they pushed out so many of their veteran players, so many of their hardcore players, and they pushed out one of their biggest streamers and commentators, Ares. Ares have made so many magical moments. We just spent like 20 minutes looking at old commentating moments of Ares. For Tekken 8, you won't have any of that. But then also, you talk about how Harada was bragging about how Tekken 7 was beating Street Fighter. A lot of that is attributed to Ares, which they no longer have anymore. And when we look now at Tekken 8, Tekken 8 is getting bodied by Street Fighters in almost every category. Now Harada's coping. Harada's like, oh, well, you got to keep in mind that Tekken 8 this. You got to keep in mind Tekken 8 that. Oh, how the times have changed. And the 5 years of the highlight days of Tekken 7 to now, what changed? Not the players, because people like to say that the players are super toxic and this and that. No, the toxicity and whatnot came after the fact. You know what was the initial change? Random updates from the developers. Them randomly trying to change the hell sweeps. Them randomly dropping super powerful pay-to-win DLC characters on us. Them randomly trying to cater to casuals unlike any other. All of that stuff came way before the toxicity. The toxicity is a byproduct of their stupid decisions. Their decisions that aren't paying off. So when you talk about how do we fix this and how do we get to a point where the game can be what it once was, you have to look at what happened. And that's the developers and their design philosophy being corrupted.
Season 3 of Tekken 7, when that launched way back in the day, and we got launched Leroy, and in a top 8 at EVO Japan there were 6 or 7 Leroys. They buffed Geese, who was already one of the top 1, top 2 characters in the game. We had to pay $5 for frame data. They gave us homing hell sweeps on all the Mishimas. There were a lot of things they did wrong, so it's like a toss-up.
All of the things he just listed was unnecessary and was completely avoidable.
The timing is so fucking bad. Because Tekken 7 had 2 years in arcades. And then it has 1 year of Season 1. And then comes Season 2 of Tekken 7, and it ironed out a lot of the problems. And it stabilized Tekken as a game. But the thing with Tekken 8 is that it was not in arcades.
Even though Tekken 8 wasn't in arcades, a lot of people were forgetting that this game did that whole entire first year of being at tournaments. You remember when it was at tournaments and people were playing a game, giving feedback to the developers? They did that for a whole year. It's not like we didn't have that whole thing going on. We had like 3 betas, we had the demo, and then we had all of Season 1. So if you combine all of that time, it equals to the 2 years that Tekken 7 was in arcades. So we are currently at where Tekken 7 was when it started to get really good. With that being the case, Tekken 8 is only getting worse. And that's why when people say, oh, you guys are overreacting, no, we're not. What was the point of giving feedback at tournaments? Because they didn't listen to none of it.
Oh shit, even main man SWEs being a Tekken refugee. Listen, brother, if the whole reason Tekken players are trying to jump ship is because they are tired of having forced mix-ups with 50-50s, you're going to find no peace in these streets, my man. They just turned your game into Street Fighter 6. Here we go. Bonchan, please demonstrate. Please demonstrate what I mean. Please demonstrate exactly what I mean. Please, thank you. Case in point.
You gotta take now this 50-50 throw mix-up, or simply block a safe mid.
Yeah, whatever, main man. Screw what the main man's talking about. Look at this. Oh my God, this is the best cosplay I ever seen in my life. Holy